Welcome to DNA Podcast. It's Destiny Network Amplified, and this is episode number 2.
Yes.
And we have the same guest that we had last episode, if you were with us and if you've paid attention, and that's the global lead team of Destiny Network, Tony Rivera from City Church in Miami, who is the president and our leader, to keeping us aligned with vision and what God's called us to do together. Myself, Ryan Deaton, pastor right here at Life Church in Fort Myers, and I have the privilege of coming alongside pastors and leaders to help them in their own development and in developing other leaders, as well as resourcing churches and leaders. And then we have Pastor Archie Callahan, all the way from Virginia Beach. He's actually not all the way from anywhere. He's actually somewhere else right now, but he pastors the Bridge Church, he and his wife Tangi, in Virginia Beach. And then across the pond, as they say, in Coventry, England, Pastor Amanda Connor. She and Jason pastor Mosaic Church. And we're just honored to lead Destiny Network. We're excited about the future. In our last episode, our last podcast, we covered the 4 values. In addition to introducing us and what we're up to, we covered the 4 values, which are, it's an acronym, because we're inviting people to a seat for global impact. So it's about spirit empowerment, equipping churches, authentic relationships, and thriving partnerships. And I think we left off at a real interesting point, thriving partnerships. So if we're partnering together, here's what I think. Relationships are designed to produce something.
Yes.
There ought to come a production from our relationship, more than just having friends. And that's really when we begin to partner together. And so one of the key things is really, I think, living out the mandate that Bishop Tony Miller, the founder of this network, gave. In 2019, the last time we were really all together before he transitioned to heaven, at Affecting Destiny, he gave both an inspiring, prophetic, and anointed challenge to Destiny Network about planting churches. And I believe it's the season where we're supposed to lean into that more than ever before. And Archie, his heart, his passion is in planting churches. He has successfully planted a church that has planted churches and has multiple campuses. And I just think it was the wisdom of God when you asked him to lead that part of the network, to lead that part of the mission. So, Archie, why don't you just talk about church planting, what's coming up, how are we going to partner together? Share your heart.
Yeah, church planting, man, I think it's at the heart of God, not just the heart of Destiny Network. It's God's plan A, not his plan B. Matthew 16, he said, upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell will not prevail against it. So how does God build his church? He doesn't build it by coming down himself. He builds it through partnerships with human beings just like you and I. And I just believe he wants to partner with people to expand his kingdom through the local church, whether that's multiplying campuses out of a mother church or taking a couple of people and planting them in a city as a parachute plant, whatever that looks like. I believe Destiny Network can come alongside of people, not only just resource them with information, but impartation, spiritual impartation, and resource development and giving resources to that. I think we have to put our money where our mouth is. Absolutely. And even in Christian spiritual formation, one of the principal things that we teach an individual in our church is how to manage their financial resources. And I believe the church, individual local churches, they need to learn how to manage their individual resources to help plant churches, whether you're doing the church planting or whether you're resourcing a network that plants churches. I believe the fastest way to evangelize a nation or the nations of the world is to continue to plant churches, life-giving, spirit-empowered churches. And we want to be not just a relational network, but a network who goes into empowering partnerships to help pastors come alongside of pastors, to help them plant campuses or to plant new churches in the power centers of America and the cities around the world. I believe that's the heartbeat of God. I believe that's the heartbeat of a Destiny Network for this season that we're in.
Yeah, I think that's so good. I think we need to get into a little bit in just a minute of what's the process going to look like? What are the possibilities of how we can partner together? But first, I want you to address something. There might be some people tuning in, watching right now that say, why would we need to plant another church in my city, in my state, or in America? Which, by the way, this is not just about America. This is a global network. So we're really going to be planting churches globally.
That's right.
But if somebody were to push back to you, Archie, and say, wait a minute, you have no idea. Why do we need another church in my city? Why do we need another church wherever? Just talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I believe because there are lost people in our cities. And the fastest way to evangelize the lost is to plant new churches. The easiest way for unbelievers, de-churched people to reconnect to church is to plant new churches. Many times, older churches are not outward oriented. And new churches embrace new people a whole lot faster and easier than older churches. That doesn't mean we should throw away older churches. Some older churches need to retool, they need to rebuild, they need to refire, get re-energized. However, new churches can come into an area and reach people that older churches cannot. I think that's the heartbeat of God. And we need to be people that help inspire that, collaborate with that, partner with that, and that's what we want to do at Destiny Network.
Yeah.
I was going to say that, even in our church, we are celebrating 20 years, and we felt like this last year, we decided to retool ourselves so that we don't just stay with the old, but really advance. And now we're going to do multiple campuses just to stay fresh. I believe that a church success is not measured by the seat capacity as much of the sending capacity as we send people and plant churches and multiply. And I know Amanda over there in England, I think they're getting ready to do a 4th campus in 2 years, total of 2 years. So maybe tell us your story, how that happened and took place.
Yeah, and let me just add one question onto that. Not only how it took place, but what are the results that you're seeing of planting those new churches?
Yeah, I mean, just to echo Archie a little bit, to backtrack, the greatest evangelism tool of the gospel is church planting. And it is absolutely true, whether it's getting people through the doors or also multiplying people into capacity of service. So you run out of places for people to serve when you have one local church, one way forever. You get a set worship team, there's no one else to join that worship team. You can only have so many services a week. You developing new people, you have to create new platform. And that is across every area of your church. So whether it's children's ministry, youth ministry, welcome ministry, hospitality ministry, prayer ministry, it doesn't matter where it's at. Eventually you run out of spaces for people to fill. So one of the primary ways you keep a church moving and growing is multiplying it again, because you create new opportunities of service for the people that are currently in your building, but then you also create new opportunities for a community to now apprehend and to get into a local body and into a local house. So in England, this is actually, funny enough, it's not something that happens all the time. So to be a growing multi-campus version of a church is a little bit out of the box, and probably what makes it a bit more out of the box than what we're doing is that a few years ago, the Holy Spirit was very keen to let me know, Amanda, you are an admiral, you are not a general. And I didn't really understand what that meant at first. I thought, okay, well, what does that mean? And then through my own personal research and discovery, I realized what God was saying to me is, Amanda, if you get attached to only having the same type of person you lead or the same type of ministries you lead, you won't be able to apprehend the level of leadership I'm calling you into. But an admiral, they oversee many types of ships. They don't all have the same purpose or the same strategy, but they're all headed to the same mission. And they're all led by the same admiral. And so that was what I felt like God spoke to me. So what that did for me is it took limits off of my mind that everything needed to look the same. That was for me. This is not everyone's journey, but this is mine. So I had to really dig deep and go, okay, well, what is it then that's our DNA? What's the stuff that has to be at every location, while the other stuff was really secondary to those locations? And so by discovering that, it's been able to mobilize us faster And it's also been able to release leaders into the body quicker, and it's been able to partner people. I mean, the Bible's really clear when Jesus sent them 2 by 2, where he was about to go. I've said that before so many times when I've preached, because I want people to catch that he partners people where he is headed. So those partnerships are always an indication of the prophetic trajectory that God is on. And so I've been able to take and release people in our congregation to be able to just go, okay, we're going to do it. We're going to start and let God bless it. I'm not going to get wrapped up in the mess of it. It's going to be messy. Church planting is not straightforward. Every leader is different. I mean, Archie may have a different perspective, and I love that about his perspective, but I don't believe every leader leads the same. I think you have to work with the giftings and the calls that's on that leader, and you have to teach them how to partner with other gifts in the room when they're surrounded by other church pastors as well. So for us, once I took these limitations off my mind that I was needing to make a cookie cutter sameness approach, and I went to a harmony approach, it has allowed me to walk in and out of rooms and in and out of places with leaders to activate what was in them and to move things faster, to move things quicker, and to not get my hands caught up in holding on, making someone like me. So someone said to me the other week, which I guess is a compliment, but it was also a little bit of like, okay, they said, why would you ever want to build a multi-campus church? You're such a great preacher. Wouldn't you just, keep building? And I thought, oh, what a terrible use of the great preacher I am. Because a great preacher cannot give somebody else their gift. I cannot give anyone else my gift. But you better believe I can skill somebody to take advantage of that gift. Right. And so that's been my level of trying to impart. And so as a result of that, we've now gone from 2, and this year, we're sort of having twins. And man, I just came out of those meetings this morning. I'm like, okay, well, these twins are coming. And when I tell you they're polar opposites, it's like being in 2 completely different realms of operation, but they're both beautiful, functional, and led by incredible people. So I think you got to get outside your own brain sometimes and let the Holy Spirit get inside of what works for you as a leader, and allow yourself that tension of not having control of everything, but having control of the right things, and stewarding the right things. And so that's my
good
thoughts.
Yeah, I was just thinking about, we can either have healthy multiplication or unhealthy church splits. We get to decide.
Yeah,
I think most of the church splits are God just trying to multiply his church and be effective. And we don't recognize that. So we can be healthy people that understand that we need to multiply, or we can be unhealthy and lead to church splits.
Yeah, because when we build structures that makes no room for the people to grow and to be sent off, eventually they will have to leave. If they're going to be faithful to their assignment. And what a better way to just release and send people. And so it's so strategic, and instead of having a tearing apart, you actually become a multiplicative leader that actually trains and releases people.
Yeah, that's really good. Sorry, this has nothing to do with the subject. I'll get back on the subject in a minute. But Amanda, you said something and just a few minutes ago, and I thought, my goodness, she's been in the UK a while.
Secondary.
Secondary. I had to process what you were actually saying there for a second.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
Oh, don't apologize. It's wonderful. It's funny.
There are some real words. When you've lived here 4 years, there's some real words.
Oh, I bet. That's great. As I was thinking about church planting, at Life Church, we have planted churches. We planted a Spanish church. We planted a church in Mississippi a number of years ago. And candidly, we learned a lot by a lot of failure, and I second what Amanda said. It's messy. But, anything with people is messy.
Having children is messy.
I told our church, having children is messy. I told our church just a few weeks ago, we talk about one of our core values being authentic relationships. There's no messier place than relationship.
Absolutely.
Right? There's no greater space for hurt. But if you're not close enough to hurt me, you're not close enough to help me.
That's right.
Right? So everything we do in life has the capacity to be messy, but do it anyway. Right?
Absolutely.
Do it anyway. And I was thinking about multiplication here in context of Life Church. And about a year and a half ago, the Lord put it on our heart to start a third service, on a Sunday evening. So we're going back to traditional Sunday morning, Sunday night, but it's going to be another option, not like we're doing Sunday morning and Sunday night, like old school. But what I have we're actually treating that like a church plant, because we've started having launch meetings. We've got people coming to those meetings, honestly, that aren't connected at another place in ministry, but now they're leading. Oh, I actually have a space to do that now.
Yeah.
We had an incredible launch meeting, people engaging in prayer. We're challenging them to go out and bring their friends, bring the lost. That we're not looking to try to move people around to another service. We're actually going after unchurched people, and it's brought a freshness and a revitalization to what God's doing here. And I believe for us, like I honestly, I didn't understand why God was leading us into that. We just heard a word from God and we started leaning into it. But now I see, okay, this is a precursor probably to us being part of a church plant or helping to plant a church. And it's just opening up that space. It's another way to multiply and open up that space for other leaders that are emerging. So, yeah, I'm excited about partnering with Destiny and with the people that are part of the network together and seeing what happens in cities as we begin to plant churches together. The reality is there's probably people that are graced inside of your churches that just need a place. And when we start operating together, it just might be that we have a worship leader, somebody else has a youth leader, somebody else has a campus pastor, and who knows what can come of this, right?
Absolutely. Maybe Archie can share a little bit about if somebody's interested of, how can I begin to take those steps as I feel like I'm a church planner. Where do I go? What do I do within the context of our network? Maybe you can kind of share some.
I think the first step is fill out an application. I think it should be on our website. You can go to our website, pull down an application, fill that out, and we'll set up an interview. If you're a pastor that wants to plant a new campus or plant a church or mother a church, you can do it the same way. Just fill out an application. We will contact you. We'll have an interview process with you, and then we'll take the necessary steps to walk you through the process, because it is relational. It takes time. This is not a fast thing. Some instances it can be fast, but it's a process. We believe in the process. We don't want to abort the process and make mistakes and funding things that have no fruit. We want to be fruitful, but we also want to be careful in the fact that we want people to be in a church that wants to plant a church. We believe you need to be plugged into a local church, and the first step is that you fill out an application. You have to have a recommendation from your pastor if you're just going to be a church planter. Now, if you're a pastor who's wanting to plant a church or do a campus, you would go through just the application process.
Yeah, so
take
good.
the steps.
What I love about it is that you can be a church planner that wants to be connected to plant a church, or you can be a church that wants to initiate church planning, and we can bring both together and harness that. But also, one of our philosophies is that if you're going to have that and be a church planner, part of your training is not getting consulting on being a church planner, but you also have somebody to coach you and your family emotionally, relationally, because we believe in healthy leaders, right?
Yes, sir. And we'll take you. You'll in that process. If you apply and we partner with you, we'll take you through a school of church planting. We'll recommend a couple for you. We're partnering with Trey Jones, Healthy, Growing, Multiplying Churches. I think that's the name of it.
Yes, it is.
We will send you to one of their church plant boot camps, church plant schools, to equip you and to give you all the keys to launch well and effectively. So there's steps to it. We're not just going to throw money at people, but we're going to say, hey, we think this is a God thing. We can move with you. We can run with you, and we can partner with you. And there are going to be resources that we can allocate toward church plants, just like ARC and other associations do, that will help you get off the ground. In partnership, not just relationship.
So exciting about what is in the future for Destiny Network, and not distant future. Like, these things are in process right now.
Absolutely.
And it's so exciting. There's two other things I think it's important for us to cover. Number one, I want us to talk about, we want leaders to be healthy. That's just not leaders that are planting churches, but all those that are part of Destiny Network. We want to stand with them in their health. So we have systems for partner care that I want to talk about. And secondarily, I want us to end with, why should people be a part of a network? Why should they really partner with a network? What are the advantages that people have to partner with a network? But let's start. Why don't you just talk about the partner care, the systems that are in place, and what's happening?
Yeah, we're just not an organization that we have projects and initiatives, but we also believe in the health of a pastor, the health of a church, of a ministry. And so what we've established is we have several individuals in the team, the ones that I mentioned of the partner care, that they're going to follow up. If you're interested in being part of it, you're engaged, fill out the interest form, but you'll be follow up with a call. We'll share our values, help you on board, and also what roles you can play within the network. But one of the things we've done that I think is very exciting is we've been having table gatherings. And we'll have them regionally throughout the year. And we call in pastors from a certain region. We come together. We share our core values. But after that, what's taken place, and right now we've initiated one so far, is we're having phone calls, Zoom calls. They start weekly, and eventually they become monthly. But pastors come in. They share with their heart what's going on. Depending on the context of the leader that's leading it, some guys preach more than pray more. But basically, guys get together, they talk, and the one we were in this last week, there was prophetic ministry flowing, guys getting prayed over, and it was just incredible to see the hunger of guys looking for relationships. And I believe that that's part of wanting to be taken care of, to know that you actually have a place. I remember one guy, after one of the prayer calls that we had, he says, I forgot how much it is, how much I miss relationships, and having pastors that I can go to.
And this was a pastor that was part of the network at one time. They had disconnected from the network, and over the last couple months has realized this is my tribe. This is where I belong.
Yeah,
and so just gathering together on a Zoom call for 30 minutes, praying together, ministering to one another. People are being cared for, right? So in addition to the partner care team, I think the reality is once we get connected in relationships, we care for one another. The body cares for itself. That's what we would tell our churches, right? Hey, I'm the pastor. I'm not responsible for taking care of all your needs, but if you're connected rightly, then you're connected to somebody that can be there in a time of need and help to care for you.
Absolutely. And our network is built in, the leaders are involved. They're gifted and anointed in different areas. And because we have a partner care, we can say, oh, you're having an issue with that. I know the right person that I can refer you to, so that you can connect with them. And we provide consulting, we provide coaching, we provide care, follow up. And so those are the exciting things, the new avenues that will begin to open up.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm excited about that for sure. And I think it would be great for us just to close and maybe each one of us talk to maybe a minute and a half, 2 minutes from your perspective. Why should somebody be part of a network? Who wants to go first? Amanda, why don't you start us off?
I think you said it earlier, people find their tribe in a network. They find belonging. Pastors need belonging. And probably in the purest form, that's what denominations were meant to be, a place of belonging where we had shared value, we had shared mission, and that mission gave us courage because we were collectively pursuing the same things. And I think networks are made to do that same idea. They're just made to do it without the obligation of all of the things that come around what have become denominational settings, where there's just the purity of how do I build what God has asked me to do, not alone? How do I do that in partnership with other people? And I have found for me, when you choose to do it just as a friend, that's a wonderful thing. But as you said, Ryan, rightfully, friendships are so vital and so important, but they're just a friend. But when you partner together, you can really impact what it means to become purposeful, to be fruitful, and to see something move forward because you're gleaning from one another. And as Archie said, ironing sharpen ironing our iron. So for me, I live across the pond now, and I have to tell you that is no joke. I mean, you live 5,000 miles away. There is no joke about that. The Atlantic Ocean, it's a big ocean, and it's a big, big distance between relationships. So for me, networking is all about keeping my foundation. It's about me knowing I've got somewhere to go. if I'm in the midst of trouble, or I have a people group that know me and that believe in me, and they're for me, and they're willing to come beside me. So everybody's going to join for a different reason, and they're going to connect for a different reason. But for me, man, that's enough, because being over here, there is this. I love what I do, but let me tell you, I came to people that didn't know me, and they didn't have an idea of who I was. They weren't part of my tribe. And so when I went back in January and saw all you guys, I know it sounds so dumb, but when I was there, it was so refreshing just to be known, and to feel that being known also meant purpose, because not only was I known as a friend, I was known as a colleague, and as a co-laborer, and as a co-partner. And to me, that is what makes the beauty of a network.
That's good. Archie?
That's good. Yeah, I think in the heart of every person, there's a longing to belong. And Destiny Network is a place that you can belong, and you can get to be known, not only know, but to be known in relationships for greater impact. And I think, in most denominational settings, though people say they belong to a denomination, there is a longing for more. It's not relational, it becomes transactional, and it's no longer life-giving. And I believe Destiny Network is a place where we don't want something from you, we want something for you.
Yes.
It's a place really where we want to empower relationally, through partnerships, through information impartation. We want something for you because we want something for the kingdom of God. Seek first the kingdom of God, and all these other things are going to be added unto us. I just encourage any kind of pastor who's out there who feels like he's by himself or she's by herself, to connect with Destiny Fellowship. It's a place where you'll have a seat at the table, and we're going to make the table big.
Yeah,
because the table of the Lord is big. Everyone's welcome, and we encourage you. And you can be in a denomination and still be connected to Destiny Network. We're not asking people to leave their organization, but if you're longing for more and you want to belong at a place or in a place where the table is huge and you have a seat, come join Destiny Network.
So good. I'm going to go next, Tony, because I think you're supposed to save the best for last, and since you're the leader, I think it'd be really important for you to conclude it. I think that so many things have been said so well by both Amanda and Archie, and I second everything they said. And I think the one thing that I would like to add is that when you're part of a network, then you have access to grace that you don't have, because if you think you have all the grace necessary for your call, you're missing it. I think Ephesians 4 gives us a great picture of different graces that are needed. And the reality is, this might be offensive to some. I was actually told every church ought to have all 5 graces operating in it. I think that's not realistic, but I think that's where network comes in, relationships, because you have access to grace that might not be within the context of your local church. There might be a season where you need prophetic ministry, and you look around and there's not that prophetic grace in your house. But when you're connected to a network, we can say, hey, wait, I know the people that we need to send, because they can come and they can bring a word from God. They can declare what God is saying that awakens something in your people, that then re-equips your people with ears to hear, and fresh vision can come alive. You might be a pastor leading a local congregation, but you need really an apostolic grace to come and help you build. Maybe you've got prophetic grace, but man, you just got all this prophesying and there's no building. You need an apostolic grace to come alongside. Well, within the network, those graces are there, right, to help you build so that we can advance the kingdom of God together. So I think that's another one of the dynamic aspects of being part of a network. And let me just add this, and I've said it, but I just want to reiterate it, because I know the heart of the people that are on this lead team, the people that are on the care team, is that apostolic grace and leadership is not about oversight. We've got no desire to control your church, to dictate how anything ought to happen in your local context. That's furthest from the truth. Matter of fact, a while ago, I was having a conversation with somebody that's a friend of this network, that's Dwayne White. We were just talking about apostolic grace, prophetic grace, and really, it's not about oversight at all. and he uses this word, and I've kind of adopted. It's really about undersight. How can we come under you to support you in everything that God's called you to do? That's the other benefit of being part of a network.
Yeah, Bishop used to say it's an inverted triangle.
Yeah.
We lift up people. If the foundation is the apostles and prophets, then, it's foundational. And nobody ever says you got a great foundation, of a house. They just look at the outward, but really that's so important. To me, I love what Archie had mentioned, that the table is big at Destiny, and you can be from different movements, different denominations, but there's something special when we come together. I remember when we planted City Church in Miami, and here I am, being connected with Destiny and being involved in a lot of things, conferences. Now I'm in Miami, parachute drop, planting a church, and there were times that I found myself alone. And think when I had questions, and if it wasn't for the network, I don't know where I would be. I remember we were building out and the church and renovating it, and we even had run out of money, and we were just saying, well, we'll shut that part and continue doing the other parts of ministry. And then I got a call from you and Pastor Jody, and you guys said, hey, we're going to come over and give you a visit.
That's when he was here.
And that's when he was here, yeah. And I said, well, you know what, that's great. I said, great, come over. But when I hung up, I said, Diana, we don't even have money to take him out, really. That I need to use that for the church, but, we'll be host. And we took him to a little cheap Spanish restaurant, and we fellowship, and it was refreshing to me. Number one, that right there was refreshing. But secondly, they had prayed, and the Lord had told them to receive an offering for City Church. And we needed $25,000 so that we can finish the last piece and get our certificate of occupancy. And guess what? That check was $25,000. I bawled like a baby, and I recognized that if it wasn't for the network and relationships, where would I be? I get calls from pastors now, and they're lonely. They need direction. Where do I go? Well, the network is a place. It's a seat at the table. And table is an intimate place, because when we sit at the table, we can fellowship, we can eat together, break bread together. I've come to a situation of even consulting right now with our transition, and I needed to talk to somebody, and Amanda's been kind of the one that's been navigating some things, calling her so they can talk to my staff. Because sometimes it's not us that need to do it, somebody else, another voice. And so that plays a role. And so at the Destiny, there's a seat that you can come, you can connect, and have an authentic relationship. And an authentic relationship means that it's life-giving.
Yeah.
It produces life. And when two people come together in a relationship, there is fruit. Right.
So
there's an intimacy. And so we welcome you at Destiny. I know that if you want to come physically and get to know us, October 28th, 29th, and 30th in Fort Myers, we will be having our Affecting Destiny conference. And so you can find us in the website and in social media, some of the posts that you can register and sign up, be part of that.
Yeah, so follow us on all the social media platforms and make plans to be part of Affecting Destiny right here in Fort Myers, Florida, October 28th through 30th. Thank you all for joining us. If you've enjoyed this podcast, would you do me a favor? Click like, subscribe to it. It's going to come out bi-weekly. And the next episode, all about demystifying AI and how you can use it in your context to advance the mission and the vision that God's given you. Thanks for joining the DNA podcast. We love you. We bless you. We're praying for you and believe in God's best for you.